Ghost bikes. It's not a bike brand, it's not a bike disappearance, and it's not a spooky Halloween gimmick. No, it's a call to all drivers to take care while they're on the roads. Imagine a situation where a cyclist is tragically killed in a known hazardous area. The funerals, the grief will never make up for that. And then you see people driving through that area as recklessly as they did when that accident occurred. Well, what can you do? Well, this is where ghost bikes come in. Ghost bikes are a memorial to the person that was tragically killed at that site. They're also a reminder to other drivers that this is a dangerous area and to take a little bit of extra care. A ghost bike is usually an old bike, something that is discarded, and then it is painted completely white, including the tires, and fixed in place to some form of infrastructure like a street sign or a post or a fence. Then there is often things placed on the bike such as flowers, a plaque memorializing the event, a person or a sign or some other form of memorabilia. Ghost bikes, also called white cycles or ghost cycles, is a phenomenon that goes back to the 1960s. In fact, in Amsterdam, ghost bikes or white cycles had nothing to do with accidents and memorials. It was all about offering a low-cost form of transportation with free bikes that could be used by anyone and just left for another person to use. Now, Amsterdam is an amazing story in its own right because prior to this, Amsterdam was known as a real problem for traffic and pollution. Now, Amsterdam is known as a bike capital, and riding in Amsterdam is considered a pleasure and a part of everybody's lifestyle. Fast forward to 2002 in San Francisco. Artist Joe Slaughter was intrigued by the bikes that were set aside, discarded, abandoned in the city of San Francisco. He painted them white, photographed them, and posted them onto his website, ghostbike.net. Fast forward to 2003, Patrick Vanderuran in St. Louis, Missouri, USA, witnessed a bicyclist being hit whilst in a bike lane. So affected by this that he secured a bike, painted it white, and secured it in place with a sign on it saying "Cyclist struck here." So dramatic was the effect on drivers that he gathered up a bunch of his friends and placed 15 more of these bikes all around St. Louis in key spots. Interestingly, the bikes were in some cases damaged beyond repair and even additionally damaged to make the scene look even more tragic. Over the subsequent years, the ghost bike phenomenon grew, and across the United States, including cities like New York City, Seattle, and many others took up this ghost bike phenomenon. Then it moved internationally. Now today there are over 630 ghost bike placements worldwide, and you can go to a website which lists them all. If you want to follow the links in the description, you can see where they all are. You can go and see them for yourself. So who puts up these bicycles, these ghost bikes? Well, it's mostly other enthusiastic cyclists or friends of the cyclist or friends of the family that want to memorialize the event. They want to be reminded and not to allow the memory of that person to fade away. But importantly, it's about making drivers aware of the dangers that cyclists are in. I believe that a lot of drivers are completely unaware of the dangers that cyclists face every day. When people are rushing about their daily lives, they want to get from A to B, get the shopping, go to work, answer the phone. They may be tired, they may be impaired in some way. They forget that there's a cyclist there that only needs to be nudged by the front of a car to be hospitalized or even worse. And so it is that local authorities often leave the bikes in place for a long time, if not indefinitely, but they do sometimes get removed. How do I feel about the ghost bike phenomenon? I think it's fantastic. I think this is exactly what we need to try to encourage drivers to take more care. We want our local authorities to do more to make cycling safety. But ghost bikes phenomenon is excellent at bringing awareness to drivers in key locations by making it very clear that someone was hurt here. Without a ghost bike or some form of notification, no one would know. The authorities aren't putting up any kind of memorials or any kind of signs to indicate that there was something terrible happened here. And Ghost Bikes does that. So what can you do to keep yourself safe whilst you're cycling? Well, fortunately, there is a lot. There's new technology, there's mindset, there's safer routes, there's infrastructure coming. There's a lot you can do to keep yourself safe as a cyclist. If you want to know more about that, then subscribe to the channel, because we're often talking about safety for cyclists. Also, if you're interested in our new product, Hawkeye, please click the link in the description and go and check out our website. Now, that product is available soon, and it allows riders to be very aware of the situation that's developing behind them. It uses AI and multiple cameras to understand what's happening behind you and presenting it to you on your cell phone for you to view as a quick glance, so that you can keep yourself safe. There's also a light, a buzzer, and a whole bunch of other really cool features. So check that out at hawkeye.bike. So ghost bikes are a global phenomenon. They're usually old junk bikes that are painted completely white, locked in place around an area where a tragedy happened to a cyclist. Now, they memorialize the event, but they also importantly indicate to drivers how dangerous it really can be for cyclists when they're mixing it up with the traffic in certain areas. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.